right, here. Player hangars could be so much better. All right, Morph. Let's check out what you have to say here.
If you backed Star Citizen sometime in the past few years, you might be wondering what the heck that hangar is as part of your game package. Well, once upon a time, a long time ago, well before we had the open universe, we had something called the hangar module.
Yes.
It was a single player hangar environment in one of 4 different styles where you could spawn and tour your ships and vehicles that you owned and even view them from afar atop a personalized mezzanine and catwalk as you imagine the day that you'd finally be able to open the hangar doors and fly out into an open Star Citizen universe. Sadly though, that vision of the future never really came to pass. Instead,
But what's not sad is we got out of our hangars and now are flying in the persistent universe, which, you know, here's the thing. There's progress. That's progress.
and Star Citizen continued to develop
missed the
and
hangars,
expand,
though.
slowly leaving that hangar module behind as a disconnected relic of a time long past, and it was eventually cut from the menus altogether around 3 years ago in patch 3.13, leaving no place for us to display our hangar flare.
We need
but all
Scrooge McDuck
that's
hangars.
about to change thanks to patch 3.24,
Give me my Scrooge McDuck
where it's
hanger.
finally making its return in the form they're calling persistent hangars. But this release may not be exactly what many were imagining for a hangar 2.0, raising the
All right, here's the thing. I've seen a lot of people putting out content like this. This isn't just Morph. Like, can we just let it hit? Can we just let it hit first? Right? Like, can we just let it come out and then see what the issue is? Isn't this why it's an alpha? Like, when these things come out, even though they're going to be tested to get rid of the serious bugs, then we're going to test the mechanics on a mass scale and tell people what we don't like and what we do like. Isn't this the part of the process? Like, just let it come out, like, you know, and then critique the hell out of it. And then I get it. Because, you know, Morph's probably involved in the PTU and the Evocati and the whole deal. But can we just let it hit the persistent universe and all of us try it and see what we think first before we do these kind of pieces where like, oh, everyone's gonna hate it. Like, you know,
the question of whether or not they will eventually ever live up or even exceed the experience of that original hangar module. And that's what inspired me to make this video and craft some ideas on what we could possibly see in the future should CIG choose to incorporate some newer ideas.
It's pre-bitching. Right. That's what it feels like, Mad Style. Absolutely. It feels clickety-clackety and pre-bitching.
Into their vision, making space for way more useful and engaging things than they ever had before. And I'll show you exactly what I mean right after we segue into the sponsor of today's video.
Fucking fuck. I know he's got to make money. We all got to make money. All right, and are we done?
And if none of this really turns out to be for you, you can always get your money back with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Star Citizen 3.24 is introducing something called persistent hangars. These are spaces like the hangars that we have now, but are instead unique to you. These spaces are for you to spawn your ships and items in
What's
and
up,
keep
Barrister?
in
Good to see you, buddy.
wherever you've placed them. Essentially, you can place boxes or weapons or furniture even anywhere within that space, and it will save that location for every time you return to the hangar space, effectively giving us a kind of pseudo-customizable player house that will finally be getting in this next patch. The size of the hangar will depend on the largest ship that you currently own, so if you've got, say, an 890 jump, then you'll have an extra large hangar, even for when you spawn something as small as a little Aurora. For now though, their style will be tied to the landing zone that you choose, and you won't have an option to access it anywhere but from your home landing zone. At the time of the making of this video though, 3.24 is still in Evocati, so I've got no choice but to show you some official footage instead of my own, where you'll see that they're virtually identical to the hangars that we currently have, with the exception of the addition of the cargo elevator, a ship calling terminal right at the entrance, and a massive retracting pad and door where your ships are now presented and stored in an epic fashion. I also have
I think they'll be able to customize them in the future. I think your persistent hangars, your home hangar, will eventually be customizable in some way. It'd be dumb of them not to do that. I think in the future, after patch after patch after patch down the road, it will be custom. It would make sense to make it customizable.
Have Evocati access, by the way, so I can confirm that these hangars are pretty much 90% the same as what we have right now.
I'm having a wonderful time
means then that as exciting as this new feature is, that you shouldn't be expecting to see some grand new mezzanine or little personal area to place the limited new selection of furniture that they're adding in this patch, or a place to place your hangar flare, which they've finally gotten around to physicalizing, kind of, so that you can take them out with the new cargo lift. You also shouldn't hope to see something like a cool side alcove for storing your vehicles or smaller ships, or even vehicle items. It's exactly the same way as it is right now, which is to say mostly set dressing. What it comes down to then is that persistent hangars are more of a necessary technical feature in order to deliver the new cargo lift and inventory physicalization that's heading the 3.24 release, meaning that they're not really going to be releasing a hangar module version 2.0 with this patch. This, though, isn't meant to be a criticism of this patch, since CIG never really promised or said anything about them being a second coming of the hangar module. But that's surely not going to stop people from trying to decorate their hangars anyway with the limited space that they have. But eventually, like me, you'll probably discover that the location isn't really well suited for decorations just yet.
The biggest deal about this patch is the fact that the actual inventory, the cargo, the assets are physicalized, which is why we have these kiosks, so that when you don't have to deal with ATC or the security paying fines on server issues and bullshit when you land and you've got 3 or 4 hours worth of work in your hold completely disappearing because servers are having issue, and then your ship goes bye-bye and you get impounded, and then you got to pay fees, and all that work goes down the fucking tubes, and then you got to pay the impound fee and then lose all the cargo and all the time of your work. So like the real upgrade on this patch is going to be the physicalized cargo, right? It's cool that you can kind of customize your hangars. You got persistent hangars, and that's wonderful because you can accrue the wealth. But like, imagine you're going into the hangar, you can instantly take all your goods and then put them in the actual cargo hangar, and they're there, and you don't have to worry about any more bullshit. Which that'll be physicalized cargo is a big step forward, right? To accrue wealth, to accrue your wealth and to hold on to it, and all those hours of work that you put in actually means something, right? All that gameplay, all that wealth, you can preserve it. That means something. That'll keep asses in seats. That's important. That's really the most. Yeah, and then we talked about that last night, Trip. We talked about those exploits last night on Star Citizen After Dark. We watched 2 videos concerning that, and I had a lot to say. So that'll also be out on the channel this week.
So then what happens when they do focus on making these hangars closer to what we originally had with that hangar module? What might it look like, and how could it even be improved? Well, that's where I wanted to go with this video. That's why I made it in the first place, because I think there's clearly a need to revisit this idea, but now taking into account the way that Star Citizen has changed. By the way, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel if you think I deserve it by now.
Oh my gosh, you guys remember those old hangars?
So instead of just introducing the new hangars as they were originally presented back with the hangar module's original release, I think that there's an opportunity to do something a bit more interesting. At the risk of sounding a bit high in copium, I think it's time we play a little bit of the Imagine game for now, just to see what things could be with some visual aids. Apologies beforehand, by the way. On my modeling job, I only gave myself a weekend to do this, which is effectively just a rough white box model with some slapped on textures to demonstrate my point, so hopefully it comes across. Since hangars are persistent, it offers the opportunity to give players the means to decorate and prepare their spaces the way they see fit to help them prepare to get started each time they play the game. To give players agency in that preparation, then I can envision that CIG could look at these hangars like the modular ships they've been developing, where players can choose from different modules to better suit their preferences. And yeah, it might be another way for them to sell you things, but hopefully it's also a way for us to get something more useful into the game that's going to help us prepare to play much more easily than we can right now. The current hangar design right now has no place, for example, to set down hangar flare sold on the website for years as a reward for subscribers, or a place to even put down the new furniture that's coming in 3.24. Imagine then that you could buy or craft a module in-game or otherwise that could replace a part of the wall of the standard hangar with a raised.
This is where Morph shines because of his experience in architecture. Like this makes a lot of sense, and I agree with him. Like to make the hangars like have a level of modularity to them makes a lot of sense. Also could bring in an additional revenue stream for Cloud Imperium. This makes a ton of sense. People always want to personalize where they live. It makes a lot of sense.
It's a luxury mezzanine, giving you a place to display your items that you've collected over the course of playing Star Citizen to show off to your friends as they visit your hangar, all while you look down on your prized ships and possessions. Then imagine that that's the entrance instead of the one we have right now where you just enter in on the floor. Imagine how epic that could be. There are also no places to park vehicles right now, especially for larger ones like the Nova Tank or the Anvil APC. What if that same module had a place to park things down below to set out your favorite ground vehicles in preparation for using them for some kind of ground event like Jump Town or anything else? And even if it isn't for an event, it's just a great way to display your vehicles and have them out and ready for you to load up to any ship that you want when you're ready to go out and use them in the world. Alternatively, what if you just wanted a place to expand your hangar into so that you could place a parasite craft or just a smaller spacecraft so that you could prepare them to load onto a larger vehicle to fly off into space, like a Carrack or a C2? But all of these have been more about display. What about something that gives players a bit more functionality in their hangar to help them do the tasks they like doing? Imagine then, if you will, a limited refinery module that would be capable of taking small orders and even crafting items for repairing your ship on the spot in the comfort of your own hangar home. Or how about something that's a bit closer to the current new release, the new cargo update? How about a improved cargo lift module that is capable of taking out more cargo at once and comes complete with its own set of tractor beams to more easily allow you to load your ships well in the hangar?
I would be very shocked if Cloud Imperium wasn't already working on this. I think this is something that Cloud Imperium's already thought of. They have to. A lot of the ships going forward from this point in the present are going to be modular, design. They've already proven that they can make more money off of modular-based ships, and modularity pays. I'm sure that they're thinking of this, or they're even working on this as we speak. They would literally be. There would be a level of stupidity and ignorance if they weren't thinking about this. I couldn't imagine that they're not doing the work on this. If they're not doing the work on this right now, I would be completely disappointed. I should ask a few people that I know. This is something that I can't believe I didn't think of this. But like to personalize this in such a way, it just makes sense. It just makes a lot of sense.
Alongside perhaps a place to park.
No, there's that level there. But like, I think when it comes to like the revenue streams, that they would have probably already thought of this, just in terms of like the additional revenue they could make from this. I couldn't imagine that there's no work on this. Like if there's no work on this, that would just astound me.
Park your loading vehicles and push carts. I guess what I'm getting at here is that hangars have an opportunity to be more than just a place to pull your ship out of. They could be a vital part of the Star Citizen experience where you prepare and stage for doing events by yourself or with friends or even with a big organization, having things ready to go before you get started so that you can just hit the ground running when you want to play the game. And let's be honest with ourselves here, if you've played any kind of MMO before, then you probably know that a lot of these games have player-made housing where you display the items that you've looted over the years, a place to show off the things that you found, the rare armor and weapons and furniture that you've located and spent years accumulating and paying for. And in this case, they're ships that you could show off. The possibilities then really are only limited by what CIG is able to come up with and develop with their resources. But surely I think by now you guys are getting my point and maybe are excited about your own ideas. So what are you guys thinking about what hangars could become? Whether or not this becomes a reality though is entirely up to CIG. We really don't know what.
I'll tell you, one of the most the best thing that's happening right now while I'm playing Star Citizen is salvaging these really ugly Origin ships with my beautiful Drake. And I just have to say, it just makes me feel so good when I pull up on a 400 on one of these ugly quack ships with my beautiful Drake and just strip it. Just get away, ugly Origin ship. Get away. Move over for Drake. Move over for Drake. Yeah, Barrister says, how dare you? How dare you, sir, says Barrister.
What their plan is for the Hangar Module 2.0. They've not talked about where it's all going. I hope then that we start to get a little bit more information from them about what their vision is of this new version of Hangars in light of this new update that's going to bring to the forefront a lot of, shortcomings in the current design, which doesn't have the necessary locations and amenities that we would have come to expect from a hangar space that's persistent. But whatever the case may be, I want to know what your ideas are down below, so join the conversation. Do you like the idea of hangar modularity? What do you see this becoming? Let me know, and if you like this video, you guys know what to do. And I want to give a special thanks to those of you who were able to give me some footage of the old hangar module, since I didn't have
DG360 Live, let's go.
And to Starjump, who was able to give me some access to these awesome ship models to show off the hangar.
All right, well, that was a good video by Morph. That was actually a good video by Morph. I appreciate his input in that. When it comes to anything architectural and design, like, I think he's got some pretty valid points right there.